Sorry?
First time, this kind of things? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're live. Good morning and welcome to the webinar in which we will explain, things related to the mobility when you go to Bergen. So in Bergen, we have Dorothy and her team. I see some people in the background as well. So they will now take over, just present you some practicalities and also issues related to the courses and the course content you can expect if you want to go to Bergen. And so you also see if you log in with your IMBRSea account, you should see also that on the YouTube channel, the chat box is available. So post questions there, and then after the presentation we will try to answer these questions. So I'll give now the floor to Dorothy, and I will be following from the back as well. So good luck, Dorothy.
Hello everybody, this is Dorothy from Bergen, and first I'll introduce a little bit of some of the staff that we have here today. So we have Beata from the student section, one of our very helpful administrators. And we have Professor Adel Fokvor. Say hi, Adel.
Hi, hi.
And Jeppe Kolding.
Hi.
And we thought that first we'll give a presentation of, we have basically two branches while you're here, what you can take. We have ocean science and food production. And I will share my screen and we can start the ocean science. Let's see here. Can everybody see? I guess, Tim, can you confirm that you can see?
Yep, it works well.
Good. So if you come to Bergen next year for your third semester, you will either be taking what we call Bio 325 Ocean Science. This is for the students taking, what's it called? Operational marine science. And Adel is the course leader of this. And basically, Adel, would you like to explain these?
Yeah, well, I'm the course leader of this course, the course that the Norwegian students take. I mean, I'm not the sort of IMBRSea coordinator, but this presentation was made prior to this year's start of semester. It will have to be changed based on the feedback we've received, but basically this ocean science is a first semester course that we are providing our students in marine and fisheries science, and it covers aspects of faunistics, biological oceanography, marine methods, and fisheries, plus a bit of management. So this is a rather intensive course, and what Dorothy has put up here is just the schedule. And what we had this course together with the IMBRSea students for the first time this year, and it has been a learning curve for all of us. And but the thing is that some of these activities are for the regular UIB students only, and some are for combined both IMBRSea and Norwegian students, or the regular students. And then there are separate assignments that have been set up for the IMBRSea students. And we are in a process where we see that we will need to put some more emphasis on some of these extra assignments to fill in some of the gaps that we encountered. So basically we have a system a portal where we can, the students can go in and look at the different sections of the course, and where we put out the different material, handouts, readings, data sets, everything. So if you move on a bit, Dorothy. So here's the main crux of the thing. I mean, you see the Bio 325 is the name of the course that I'm responsible for this year. I'm not going to be responsible for this course next year because the main teacher that was on sabbatical this year, Professor Anna Gro-Salvanes, she will be back and she will take over again. But if we look at to the very left, you can see the topics that I mentioned: the faunistics, biological oceanography and modeling, research cruise, data analysis, and then fisheries. so if you look at the middle column, that's the things that the regular University of Bergen students would take. And then we've tried to amalgamate the IMBRSea activities within these modules. We originally set up 3 courses of 6 credits each, and that in aftermath has seemed to not really fit the bill so well. And that's something we need to adjust the relative weighting of those courses, or the assignments that will have to be completed for next year. But you can, if you go back, I mean, we need to. So one of the modules is really about the biological oceanography, and you can see that there's lectures and modeling labs, and then a written exam and a modeling assignment. And the second one is going to be changed because what happened was that there's a strict time and also number limitation on the places we have on the research vessels. And we had to set up a little bit ad hoc a 4-day research cruise for the IMBRSea students, and it had to take place early August because that's when we had the vessels vacant. This was by far not ideal for our case because that meant that we had to separate the students from IMBRSea and the other students, and they also had less time on board the ships. The consequence of some of the feedback we have received is that we will not attempt to run separate cruises with IMBRSea and the regular 325 students. But this restricts the number of IMBRSea students we can take on because there's a limit of 22 students max that we can have on board this big research vessel. And we have this course as obligatory for all students in fisheries and marine biology at the University of Bergen, and they have actually the first priority for the access to this research vessel. But we have said we will allocate 5 spaces for IMBRSea students taking this program, which means they will hopefully be better integrated into the overall course planning and course schedule than they were this year. And on board the cruise, they will take part in all the practical aspects. They will write common reports on the methodologies, and then they will have individual field reports. For the latter part, the fisheries ecology, that's including general fish ecology, fisheries ecology, stock assessment, and some management. And that's where we also added some extra assignments in terms of management this year to sort of fill the gap that appeared when the cruise time was and the cruise part was less extensive than originally thought of. Okay, so the philistics course, that's not relevant for IMBRSea. Those are the ones for the Bio 325 students. The biological oceanography and modeling has been undertaken by these 2 guys, and they have been using MATLAB in this modeling. And for the research cruise, there's a lot of people, and this also was reflected that we had actually 3 cruises taking place this year, 2 smaller cruises with 8 IMBRSea students each, and then the big cruise with around 20 students. So this is a big enterprise with people working on board the ships, and then past processing of data and data analysis using R. And then the fisheries ecology, that's where I do some of my teaching, and Jeppe Kolding sitting next to me here in the stock assessment, and the fisheries management part covered by Professor Mikko Heino and Associate Professor Katja Enberg. This is also not relevant. This is, but then these are some of the practical things that going on a research vessel, we need ID, we need health certificates. The food and lodging is covered on board, and the students, they are camping in either 2 or 4 person cabins. We work 12 hours a day, shift time. So it's quite hectic at times, and well, depending on where we are, with more or less waves, and so people that are really prone to get seasick are should be prepared. So these are the basic books we have. I mean, these are, we have the one to the left is the Marine Ecology Field Methods. That's a book that's provided free access here at UIB because the author's from here. And that's really geared towards the field campaigns and cruises in the fjords, where how to collect the data there and process that. The middle book is the book we use in the fisheries ecology. It's and stock assessment. It's a bit old, but it's actually still the most relevant, that covers fisheries in a broad context that we find applicable. And the book in marine ecology is the one that they're using for the biological oceanography. So that's the ones. And also for the phonistics, there are some simple books with a lot of pictures and phonistic keys that we use in addition. So those are the ones that we have listed here. So that's it. Something about the course objective. It's really, we built up this course at the department to cover a common ground for both the fisheries and the marine biology students. It's very much hand-on, and the following semester, actually, the spring semester or the second semester, is where they really take their specifics and electives, either in marine biology or in fisheries. So this is the preparation. And here are some of the learning outcomes. I mean, again, it's getting the hands-on experience is key here, phonistics and some modeling exercises, etc. Yeah, so I think this covers the first one of the modules. That's where this part of this Bio 325 course, plus some special assignments, is really what the IMBRSea students taking marine operational science will be provided with. As a sort of a disclaimer and a warning for the coming students, we had students that come in, of course, as you will do in the third semester, having already covered some of the basic fields in biological oceanography and this and that. So, so then you should be prepared that this will be a sort of a duplication of what you already have, because this is what we are supposed to offer in this course, and this is what we are teaching at this semester. So you might want to look into that to see that you don't get too much overlap.
Yeah, and then that being said, when we take 5 students for operational marine science, these 5 students will also have other type of weekly colloquiums, different modules to make sure that the level is at an adequate level, and extra assignments and these type of things. So we will be working with the students to make sure that they're well challenged throughout the semester. I can't see anybody, so I can't see any questions, but I will now move on to, and we're getting questions at the end that Tim mentioned, to the food production. And I will just share my screen real fast to the description of the aquatic food production course. We will be accepting 10 students in this track for 10 students. As maybe some of you know or don't know, at our campus here at Marineholmen at the University of Bergen, we're considered the Silicon Valley of marine aquaculture. We have a lot offices of Marine Harvest in Cargill and Lerøy Seafood, and lots of action when it comes to marine food production. And of course, this is all mostly salmon production. For the aquatic food production, this is one of the courses that you'll be taking side by side with other international students and Norwegian students. This is a quite fun course. There's in a field trip to the Institute of Marine Research's field station at Maltra, which is like an hour and a half north of here. And there's also an activity, I'm pretty sure they'll do it again next year, that they did this year, which was basically design your own aquaculture, farm, basically, with different constraints, economic constraints, environmental constraints. social constraints, and it's a pretty fun group activity. So you'll have lecturers, many different lecturers from really cutting edge fields from around Bergen in this. And you will also be taking the fish nutrition course. Here's the fish nutrition course alongside Norwegian students as well. So that was one good thing that happened this semester, is that our food production IMBRSea students were happy with the integration also with the Norwegian students. It wasn't so easy in the operational marine science because of the different timings of the crews and this and that, but that will be fixed next year for those students there. Okay, I think that's about it as far as the course presentation. Jeppe, do you want to add anything?
No, I'm fine. No.
Yeah. Okay, so Tim, we can take any questions that arise now.
Yeah. Okay. Checking on the. Okay. Osman Crespo, one of the students that is following, asks. Okay, 5 students in total. Maybe you can clarify on that.
Yeah, that's for the operational marine science. So that's for this the students that will be doing more fisheries and conservation. We had.
And then related to that is that the question is asked, those 5 students, let's say, how will a selection be done, let's say, in case there are 15, 20 students that show interest? Is there specific things you have in mind on this?
I talked to some of the students last night. We had a little dinner, and there was mentioned to maybe you can also clarify that when students write a motivation letter, that's could be part of the selection process.
Yeah. Well, it's anyway, that's one of the ideas we have, is that that students, when you select your mobility priorities, that you also write, okay, why exactly do you want to go to a specific place? That's in general, that's not only for Bergen, that's also for other locations. And what suggestion would be that, as we discussed also during the last board meeting, is that if students, okay, if we see that there is a certain mismatch, that we first discuss with everybody individually, rather than saying from top down, look, this is the situation and that's how it will be dealt with. So that would be the idea. Mm-hmm. We will have to look into it, how things are being selected, and then by early January we will ask everybody to post the selection, with the idea at the latest, for example, to by the end of January, that we have a solution on where to send everybody. What does the coordination suggest to the other students not selected to Bergen? That's another question. Yeah, it depends a bit on which track you are, of course, and then we will look into the alternatives. I must say, when we did the calculation on the number of students and looking at different alternatives, being, for example, GMIT Galway, we have Sorbonne Université, we have also Nice that is active, and depending on which track you're active in theory, according to the numbers, there should be sufficient places also with the limit of 5 students in that can take operational marine science. So, but of course, it's very tricky to make scenarios. No, if we don't know exactly, maybe things will just be okay when the students submit their mobility. But let's say we will always try, and I think people that are a member, the student representatives that are a member of the management board can witness that, is that we always try to come to a solution which fits to the needs of everyone. Yeah. I don't know whether the people from a practical point of view, I don't know whether there's things that you want to mention a bit there, because now you have mainly focused on the course content, but for example, in terms of practicalities, finding housing, living costs, those kind of things, is there things to mention, for example, that are important to know when students consider coming to Bergen?
Yeah, we'll mention those. Did you want to say something quick?
Yes, I think actually just as clarify how the University of Bergen has its own regulations. I mean, for their own students, in terms of this course, the 325, which is actually been oversubscribed every year in the last 2 years. I mean, there has been a grading cap that's sort of been deciding which ones offer this course. But there is one comment that I think that when I see the students that we received and their expectations, I think due to the summer course, they missed the phonistics part that we arranged in the very beginning. And as such, I think actually the students that are coming here are the ones that will probably have more benefit would be those probably more fisheries oriented than, let's say, pure conservation and let's say phonistic oriented, because since that part is actually taken out and it's not going to be available for the IMBRSea students because it's going to happen when they're in this summer camp. So that's just a sort of a reflection of what we have seen over the past of this semester.
But there could, because I was in the impression that they couldn't do it because it was full. But if they come early, they technically could, because since there's only 5.
Yeah, I mean, with this new, when they are fully integrated, the limitation is the same on the boat as in Bergen. So if they are among the 22 students that are enter, we don't have a space limitation in Bergen.
Yeah. Okay. So then.
But what we didn't have room for in any case was to have 15 extra at Bergen.
Exactly.
So, but they were not arriving here on time anyway.
Tim, that's something that at the board meeting, it was a coordination thing about the summer school.
Yeah. Summer schools. There's 2 summer schools. Let's say one will be, let me think again, 23 to 8 of August or something like that. Wait. Oh, I don't know about heart anymore. Yeah, there's 2 summer schools. I think it's important if these 5 students have to come to a certain place, for example, by a certain time, that we know which place and which time, so we can for sure make sure, for example, that those 5 students are in the right summer school, just to avoid that they cannot take part.
Yeah. Well, then, I mean, the way it was dealt with this year, I mean, and this was, something that was decided before I went into the course, it was that the phonistics was not included. That is actually a 2-week intensive phonistics training at the field station, where they also go out on smaller vessels and collect material at different habitats, and they do sort of a lot of keying and basic phonistics work. So that's mandatory for all the students taking the full course of course. And then again, to the extent that this is to be changed, I mean, they would have to be finished with their summer course before this part starts. But I don't know if that will involve a change in the schedule again.
The first summer school, I just looked it up, is from 28th of July to 9th of August, and the second one is from 11th of August to 23 August.
The latter one will not work. That will exclude the possibility of taking the phonistics, but.
Okay, we need to make sure we mark that, Tim, for the students.
Yep. Okay.
Can I just say one thing about the practicalities, because the semester in Bergen starts in week 33 every autumn. So from the 12th of August every year we have the full schedule for the students. So they have to take the early one.
This year there was a bit the concern that all students were there in time, but that after something happened, after the first course, there was kind of a gap of something like 1 month, which of course is from a financial point of view quite a tricky thing. But
the thing is, quite a few of these issues that were related to the timing of cruises and the staff that are manning these cruises were away. So it could really follow up. Could not be at 2 places at the same time. And of course, also they have 18 credits taken at Bergen, and the 12 credits are the summer course and this other elective web-based courses. So we need to make sure that they are busy with the other things at the right time. I mean, and I think it was slipping out of people's minds here.
Okay. There was a few questions. Let's say one question is, okay, are these 5 places for all the tracks? No. I think the 5 places are for only the marine operational science. So combine the different tracks that want to take operational marine science. So that's one thing. Then Charlotte van den Driessen, who was or who is right now still in Bergen, also mentions that phonistic course this year took place after the summer school. So if they take the first summer school, then the phonistic course should not be problematic.
You're correct. This year it was a capacity issue because there wasn't enough space at the field.
Yeah. Okay. And then, the student mentions, I'm sure that more than 5 students think that Bergen would be the best fit for their academic background. And I don't think everyone was going to be okay changing plans. This will be frustrating. I think that's something we have to look into, let's say, after we know these things, and to see whether how we can find solutions just to make sure that people, let's say, from their academic expectations or their interest at least can have it. So, but it's very hard to answer this now, I think. Yeah. I don't know whether there are more questions. Well, just on practicalities, housing, can you mention a living cost? Can you mention some things on this?
Yeah, we have a really early deadline for housing, because we need to send out invitation letters to all students, and they have to have their study permits before they can have their housing or apply for housing. So we've set up a date for 15th of April. So we need to know who they are, and they have to have their letters written before that. So then we will get them into the loop, because we have to have them registered as students before they can apply for housing. But I can send you a list of what to do and when, that we maybe can post somewhere. That is much easier, I think.
We can update the website with that list. And then how much does it cost per month? Do you have that?
I think it's about 3,500 Norwegian.
So like 350 euros a month for housing, and that's including electricity and internet and everything. Of course, Bergen is a very expensive city in comparison to other European cities. But I guess the current students can give you more info on that. And it also, I mean, everybody realizes how much it rains in Bergen. So that's always, fun fact about how much.
We wash our city very often.
Yeah.
Really clean.
But right now there's snow on the mountains, so it can get a little bit cold. Snow on the mountains and ice on the streets. If there's any other questions, we can take them.
Yeah, I don't see anything else coming in. Just maybe we can wait for 1 minute if this, because some students may watch the thing in a bit of delay from the streaming.
Anything else we could also say? Yeah, I mean, if people are really into nature activities, there's lots of recreation that can be done in Western Norway. Lots of nice different hikes, and some students I met at the airport last week, they're on their way to Tromsø to see the Northern Lights way up in the north. So it's a good hopping off place also if you're really interested in fjord ecosystems. Cruising. Diving, yeah. Nice cold water diving and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But also I really kind of want to emphasize it myself that if you're really interested in marine aquaculture, you'll really be exposed to a lot of things here in Bergen. The combination of science and industry here is very strong, and for the very enthusiastic and outgoing students, there's a lot of opportunities to meet entrepreneurs and different people really working on a lot of innovative aspects of marine aquaculture.
Yep, I just posted more questions, but I don't see anything coming in. So I think we can stop the broadcast then here. If more questions would be coming in after also having watched, let's say, the other webinars from the other universities. So this afternoon we have another webinar coming up for Nice, and then let's say the coming week, there's 2 or 3 more that are planned. So that might help as well. Then if you have more questions, you can direct them to the coordination office, or also directly to the contact details of the Norwegian representatives that are also available via the website. So, okay, so thanks for watching. I will stop the broadcast now and see you maybe at another webinar. Thanks for this.